You've probably been told your whole life that drinking tea is one of the absolute best things you can do for your body. We see the commercials, we read the magazine covers, and we just accept it as a universal, unquestionable truth. But right now, this very morning, millions of people over the age of 60 are waking up, boiling water, and pouring themselves a cup of something they genuinely believe is healing them, when in reality, that exact cup is actively straining their heart, their liver, their digestion, and their joints. And the most frustrating part of all of this, the part that really bothers me as a doctor, is that the mainstream medical community rarely brings it up. You go to your routine checkups. You get your standard 15 minutes with your physician. You eat your vegetables. You try to stay on your feet and get your steps in. You take your prescribed medications. And yet you still feel this lingering fatigue. Or maybe you feel a sudden, unexplainable unsteadiness when you stand up. Or perhaps there is this creeping, heavy stiffness in your knees and knuckles that absolutely wasn't there last year. You mention it and you're told, well, you're just getting older. But what happens is, after you cross that 60-year mark, the rulebook for your biology completely changes and nobody hands you the new manual. Your liver simply does not clear out plant compounds at the same speed it used to. Your blood vessels become far more reactive to herbs and extracts. Your stomach acid levels drop, and your kidneys need significantly more time to filter out daily toxins. This means a beverage that is perfectly safe or even beneficial for a 30-year-old can act as a quiet daily wrecking ball in an older body. I am Dr. Isabella Morgan. I have spent my entire career looking closely at how the aging body processes exactly what we put into it day in and day out. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen folks doing absolutely everything right, yet they are still struggling with brain fog, weird blood pressure drops, and chronic aching joints. And time after time, the culprit isn't some rare disease. It is hiding right there in plain sight, sitting in their pantry. They are drinking the wrong tea every single day, completely unaware of the invisible stress it's causing. The deeply encouraging truth we are going to explore today is that you absolutely do not have to give up your daily cup. There is a profound comfort in a hot drink. But there are 4 specific teas that are absolutely incredible for the aging body. Teas that can actually bring down full body inflammation by up to 49%. Protect the cartilage in your joints and sharpen your mind. We are going to cover those in detail. But before we get to the healing teas, we need to have a serious conversation about the 4 teas you need to clear out of your cupboards right away. And we need to start with one that tricks almost everyone simply because it is constantly praised for heart health. Think about hibiscus tea. It has that beautiful, vibrant, deep red color. It tastes a little tart and refreshing, and everywhere you look, someone is calling it a natural miracle for lowering blood pressure. So naturally, folks over 60 drink it religiously to protect their heart. They brew a big picture of it, keep it in the fridge, and sip it throughout the afternoon. But if you are in that age bracket, and especially if you are taking any kind of prescription medication for your heart, your blood pressure, or fluid retention, hibiscus can actually turn incredibly dangerous. This plant is packed with organic compounds that act as very aggressive vasodilators. What that means is they force the walls of your blood vessels to relax and open up wide. Now, if you are young, highly active, and perfectly healthy, that's a nice little gentle drop in pressure. But if your cardiovascular system is already being managed by medication, drinking hibiscus can crash your blood pressure straight through the floor. It creates an exaggerated compounding effect that your body cannot compensate for quickly enough. Think about this feeling. You have been sitting in your favorite chair, maybe reading a book or watching the evening news. You've been resting there for an hour. You stand up to go to the kitchen to check on dinner, and suddenly the room tilts. Your vision gets a little blurry at the edges. A sort of gray vignette closes in. Your legs feel like they are suddenly made of lead, and you have to grab the back of the sofa or the doorframe just to steady yourself while your heart races. A lot of folks just shake their head, wait for it to pass, and blame it on getting old. But that sudden dizziness, that terrifying lack of blood flow to the brain, is a classic sign of herb-induced hypotension. And it is a massive, widely ignored risk factor for falls. A recent clinical study in 2022 looked at this exact phenomenon and found that seniors combining hibiscus tea with their normal blood pressure medications had a 38% higher rate of these dangerous low blood pressure episodes. That is not a minor side effect you can just brush off. That is a real measurable danger. That is the difference between safely walking out to get your morning mail and ending up in the emergency room with a fractured hip or a shattered wrist. And the psychological damage of a fall is often worse than the physical. You lose your confidence, you stop going out as much, you start shrinking your world. If you notice you are feeling flushed, dizzy, or unusually weak in the legs after your daily cup, your body is sounding a massive alarm. You have to listen to it. Let's shift our focus to another cup people reach for, usually when they are trying to shake off that heavy afternoon slump. Yerba mate has exploded in popularity over the last decade. You hear everyone from internet personalities to well-meaning friends talking about how it gives you clean energy, wakes up your brain, and helps you focus without those terrible coffee jitters. For an older adult dealing with that slow, dragging feeling around 3 in the afternoon or struggling to find the energy to play with grandkids, that promise sounds like exactly what you need. You think you are making a massive upgrade for your health by ditching the coffee. But there is a hidden insidious hazard here that has absolutely nothing to do with the caffeine. It is all about how this specific plant is traditionally manufactured and processed. Most of the yerba mate you buy at the grocery store, especially the traditional blends, is made by drying the leaves over open wood fires. That heavy smoke infuses the tea with compounds called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. If that sounds like a nasty industrial chemical, it is. It is the exact same cancer-causing agent you inhale from cigarette smoke or ingest from a heavily charred, burnt piece of meat. When you drink this hot beverage every single day, you are basically bathing your throat, your esophagus, and your entire digestive tract in compounds that actively damage your cellular DNA over time. Studies tracking human diets over long periods have shown that people who make a daily habit of drinking smoked yerba mate have more than double the risk of developing cancers of the esophagus, stomach, and lungs. And to make matters worse, people tend to drink it scalding hot. That constant repeated exposure to near-boiling liquid continually burns and inflames the incredibly delicate lining of the throat. Think about those mornings where you wake up and you just have this persistent, raw, scratchy feeling in the back of your throat. Or maybe you find yourself constantly clearing a tickle that just won't go away, no matter how much water you drink. Maybe you notice a sour, heavy, burning ache in your upper stomach right after you finish your cup. You might assume it is just a bit of morning acid reflux from something you ate the night before. But very often it is your esophageal tissues literally crying out from chronic daily irritation. For an aging body that simply does not repair cellular damage as fast as it used to, pouring a hot smoke-infused beverage down your throat every single day is taking an unnecessary and frankly dangerous gamble with your cellular health. Yes, there are unsmoked air-dried versions out there, but honestly, with your immune surveillance naturally slowing down as you age, why risk it? It is a habit far better left alone completely when there are so many healing alternatives. That brings us to something so incredibly common, it is probably sitting on your kitchen counter right now. Plain traditional black tea, specifically when you add a splash of milk and a spoonful of sugar. This is just a classic, comforting, deeply ingrained ritual. People sip it while reading the morning paper. They serve it to guests and they think absolutely nothing of it. It feels like the safest thing in the world. But when you are over 60, preparing your tea this exact way sets off a quiet chain reaction that actively starves your bones and drastically ramps up joint pain over the years. Black tea on its very own is absolutely full of tannins. These are naturally occurring bitter compounds that are notorious for grabbing onto essential minerals in your gut and stubbornly refusing to let them go. When you have an older digestive tract, your ability to efficiently pull calcium, magnesium, and iron from your daily meals is already compromised. Your stomach acid is weaker, and your gut lining is less permeable to nutrients. When you flood that sensitive system with heavy tannins, you are actively blocking the exact minerals your body is begging for. You are blocking the calcium needed to keep your bones from going brittle, and you are blocking the magnesium required to keep your muscles from cramping. We actually have robust data showing that older adults who drink multiple cups of strong black tea a day suffer from measurably lower bone mineral density. But then you add the milk and the sugar, and you take a minor problem and turn it into a perfect metabolic storm. The casein protein found in dairy actively binds up whatever good healing antioxidants were actually left in the black tea, rendering them completely useless to your cells. You are drinking it for health, but the milk neutralizes the benefit. And then the sugar triggers a harsh, rapid spike in your blood glucose. Think about exactly how your body feels by 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Your energy completely bottoms out. You feel a little irritable, your focus is gone, and suddenly your knuckles, your lower back, and your knees feel tight, swollen, and heavy. You usually assume you just did too much yard work the day before or you slept in a bad position. But what you are actually feeling in that moment is systemic metabolic inflammation. You are feeling the direct physical result of your blood sugar spiking and crashing, perfectly combined with a daily chronic lack of vital minerals that your tea just blocked. If you absolutely love the taste of black tea, I won't tell you to banish it forever. Drink it plain. Keep the steeping time incredibly short. And whatever you do, do not drink it right next to a heavy, nutrient-dense meal. But ditching the milk and sugar is non-negotiable if you want to protect your joints from early degradation. The last tea on our warning list is the one that frustrates me the most because it is aggressively marketed specifically to make you feel younger, lighter, and cleansed. I am talking about green tea extract and these heavily packaged, highly marketed detox teas. Green tea in its pure, natural, lightly brewed whole leaf form is perfectly fine. But when supplement companies extract it, concentrate it into potent powders, or mix it into intense detox blends, they create a chemical load that your aging liver simply cannot handle anymore. Your liver is an incredible organ, but it naturally slows down as the decades pass. The overall volume of the liver decreases, and the literal blood flow to it drops significantly. When you consume a highly concentrated extract of green tea, you are flooding your system with a massive, unnatural dose of a compound called EGCG. In tiny natural amounts from a brood leaf, it fights oxidation. It's protective. But in massive concentrated doses found in these extracts, it flips its behavior completely. It becomes a pro-oxidant, meaning it actually causes severe oxidative damage directly to your vulnerable liver cells. There are documented terrifying medical cases of seniors ending up hospitalized with acute liver failure just from trying to be healthy and drinking daily detox teas. Your liver is not a dirty kitchen sponge that needs to be aggressively scrubbed out with a harsh, sweeping cleanse. Have you ever tried one of these detox regimens, genuinely hoping to feel that promised burst of energy, but instead you just felt completely wiped out? You woke up the next day and your stomach felt constantly queasy. Your mind felt incredibly foggy. Your urine was darker than normal, and you just wanted to lay back down in bed. That is not your body wonderfully clearing out toxins. That is your liver actively, desperately struggling to process a toxic burden you just handed it. You do not need to aggressively flush your system at this stage in life. That is a young person's game that doesn't even work for them. You need to gently, consistently nourish your organs. Which brings us exactly to the turning point of our conversation. Let's leave the harsh, damaging, and stressful habits behind and talk about what you absolutely should be pouring into your favorite mug tomorrow morning. Because when you choose the right leaves, the right water, and the right preparation, you can create a daily ritual that actively, quietly heals you from the inside out. The very first tea you should bring into your daily routine is one of the absolute best-kept secrets in the world of herbal medicine. It is called nettle leaf tea. It doesn't have fancy glossy packaging. You won't see celebrities holding it on television. But for a body over 60, it is pure foundational liquid nourishment. Nettle leaf is incredibly packed with magnesium, calcium, potassium, and vitamin K. But more importantly than just containing them, it delivers them in a bioavailable format that your aging gut can actually easily and quickly absorb. Think about how it feels to wake up at 3 in the morning or when you first step out of bed and your calves instantly seize up into a rock-hard cramp, or your toes curl painfully and your knees feel incredibly stiff and unyielding for the first hour of the morning while you try to make your way to the bathroom. We brush that off as just the unfortunate reality of having old bones and older muscles. But very often, that agonizing stiffness and cramping is simply a profound long-term magnesium and mineral deficiency. Your muscles literally cannot relax without magnesium. Nettle leaf tea swoops in and gently, consistently replenishes that deficit. On top of that structural support, it acts as a very gentle natural flush for your kidneys. As our kidney function declines, waste products like uric acid build up in the blood. That acid settles into your joints and causes them to ache and swell. Nettle helps clear out that uric acid, but it does it gracefully without stripping your body of vital electrolytes the way a harsh prescription water pill might. You just take a teaspoon of the dried earthy leaves, steep it in hot water for about 5 to 7 minutes, strain it, and drink it warm. I recommend having it about an hour after a meal. You are literally giving your body the exact building blocks it is desperately asking for every single time your muscles ache. Next up is a phenomenal, deeply comforting choice if you are looking to actively protect your heart and keep your brain sharp, and you want to do it without a single drop of caffeine. It is called rooibos tea, sometimes referred to as red bush tea. It originates from South Africa, and it is an absolute powerhouse for lowering the low-grade chronic fire of inflammation that burns constantly inside an aging body. Rooibos has incredibly unique specific antioxidants, things like aspalan that simply do not exist in other plants. Clinical trials have repeatedly shown that regular consumption of this tea actually helps balance your lipid profiles, meaning it improves your good cholesterol while keeping the bad in check. And it beautifully calms the vascular system. But where it really truly shines is in its ability to balance fragile blood sugar levels. Think about those awful moments during the day where you suddenly feel incredibly agitated for no reason. Your thoughts feel scattered. You feel a slight tremor in your hands, and you just desperately need to sit down, take a nap, or eat a sugary snack. That constant blood sugar roller coaster spiking high and crashing low does terrible microscopic damage to your blood vessels and your nerve endings over time. Rooibos helps the muscle cells in your body use the glucose circulating in your blood much more efficiently. It keeps your energy totally flat, stable, and reliable from morning until night. And because it has zero caffeine, it absolutely will not wire your brain or interrupt your sleep architecture. In fact, it actively reduces the inflammation in your neural pathways, leaving older adults feeling calm, present, and mentally sharp. Preparing it is incredibly forgiving. You can steep this one for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even longer. It never gets bitter. Toss a slice of fresh orange or a cinnamon stick in the mug for flavor and enjoy it knowing you are wrapping your cardiovascular system in protection with every single sip. The third tea on our list is something so basic, so incredibly common. You probably already have it sitting in a box in the back of your pantry, but you are completely underestimating what it can actually do for your physiology. Peppermint tea. For the aging digestive tract, pure peppermint is nothing short of a daily miracle worker. As the years go by, our biology changes. We produce significantly less stomach acid, and the smooth muscles lining our gut simply do not contract and move food along with the same vigorous rhythm they once did. You know the exact feeling I'm talking about. You go out to lunch. You eat a perfectly normal, sensible meal that never used to bother you. But 2 hours later, it feels like you swallowed a heavy brick. Your stomach is visibly bloated. You feel the need to unbutton your pants just to sit comfortably. And you feel this heavy, uncomfortable pressure right under your ribs. That is slow digestive motility. Food is sitting too long. The natural menthol compound found in strong peppermint tea actually absorbs directly into the smooth muscle of your digestive tract. It chemically forces those muscles to relax while simultaneously triggering your liver and gallbladder to release a healthy flow of bile. It gets things moving smoothly, efficiently, and painlessly. But it doesn't stop at the stomach. That same soothing menthol combined with the rising steam of the cup acts as a wonderful gentle bronchodilator. It naturally opens up your respiratory airways. If you ever feel tight in the chest, a little congested in the morning, or you struggle to take a deep, satisfying breath, a hot cup of peppermint naturally expands those passages. Just make sure when you steep it, you keep a saucer or a tight lid over the top of the mug. If you just leave it open and let all the steam escape into your kitchen, you are letting all that healing, volatile menthol evaporate into the room instead of getting it into your lungs and your stomach where it belongs. Finally, we arrive at the fourth and perhaps the most potent, deeply protective drink you can possibly make for yourself after the age of 60. It is a simple homebrew ginger turmeric tea. If you want to target the absolute root cause of almost every single age-related decline we experience, you have to target systemic chronic inflammation. And absolutely nothing in the natural world does it better, safer, and more effectively than this specific combination. Turmeric contains a powerful bioactive compound called curcumin, and ginger contains its own incredible compound called gingerol. When you put them together in the same mug, they don't just add to each other, they multiply each other's effects. They act like a chemical fire extinguisher for your joints, your aching muscles, and your aging brain. We have massive amounts of data showing that older adults who drink this combination regularly see dramatic drops in their systemic inflammatory markers, like C-reactive protein. Think about how it feels to wake up and try to twist open a slightly tight jar in the kitchen, and your fingers just throb with a dull, hot ache. Or you try to get down on the living room floor to organize something or play with a grandchild, and you suddenly realize you might not be able to get back up easily because your knees feel locked. That slow loss of mobility isn't just the passage of time. It is active, ongoing inflammation literally eating away at your cartilage and connective tissues. Ginger turmeric tea biochemically halts that process. The curcumin is even one of the rare natural substances proven to cross the blood-brain barrier, allowing it to sweep into your brain and clear out the oxidative stress that causes those frustrating memory lapses and moments where you walk into a room and forget why. To make it properly, you simmer some fresh thin slices of ginger root and a half teaspoon of high-quality turmeric powder in water on the stove for about 10 minutes. But here is the absolutely crucial part that most people miss. You must add a tiny little pinch of black pepper into the water. That tiny bit of pepper contains piperine, which increases your body's ability to actually absorb the turmeric by an astronomical 2,000%. Without the pepper, the turmeric just passes right through you. At the end of the day, everything we have just talked about comes down to one profoundly hopeful, simple truth. Your body has absolutely not given up on you. Even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, your cells are constantly, tirelessly working to repair themselves, adapt to their environment, and keep you moving forward. The aches, the deep fatigue, the brain fog, they aren't just unavoidable guarantees of aging that you have to accept. They are your body desperately communicating with you, asking you for better tools and less burden. By simply swapping out a daily beverage that is secretly taxing your liver and blocking your minerals for one that is actively repairing your gut and extinguishing inflammation, you are giving yourself the greatest gift possible, the gift of resilience. You are giving yourself the chance to wake up tomorrow feeling just a little more stable on your feet, a little lighter in your joints, and a little sharper in your mind. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just start small. Tomorrow morning, just change that one single cup. Choose nourishment over habit. Listen to your body. Treat it with the incredible respect it deserves and see exactly what it is still capable of doing for you when you finally give it what it actually needs. I'm Dr. Isabella Morgan, wishing you steady health and true vitality. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.